Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you here and proud to be a sponsor of the conference, Where 2.0. I want to share with you some thoughts about automotive connectivity and a topic which we call destination management. So imagine a future which is certain to come, but we just don't know exactly when, where everything has an IP address, everything's connected, and everything continuously flows data to the cloud, where bandwidth is ubiquitous, and every element of data, and I don't mean just data, but I'm talking about metadata, location information, energy consumption, social media, social community interactions. Everything that's quantifiable will be quantifiable, and it'll be available. What are we going to do with all that stuff? So how do we get there from here? Well, the potential is exciting, and the convergence of automotive telematics into this area is a given. Now, it'll take innovative technologies, it'll take widespread collaboration between network providers, device manufacturers, and policymakers, and it will take some major advancements in connectivity. But first, how do we get here? Well, the evolution of connectivity really began with people communicating with people, and technology emerged when we needed to communicate beyond lines of sight. Really Morse code, telegrams, telephones, fax machines, mobile phones, social networks, all of these things have emerged to help people communicate better with people. We've also moved for people to machine communication, where people use remote controls, garage door openers, e-retailers, e-banking, GPS devices. And now we know that M2M is a very real thing for us. In fact, going forward, communications between machines is going to grow faster than communication between people. And today, we humans write the rules for how machines interact with machines. We write those governance rules. At some point, the pace of change will far outstrip our ability to keep up with the rule writing. And so the machines are going to start writing the rules. How do we structure that governance process? You know, toll roads across the country are going to begin to collect traffic information and also set dynamic toll pricing. There's going to be change in the whole congestion management phase. Food packaging is going to have metadata and information about it, not only about the origin of the food, its history, but also all of the information about the health of the food itself. Even your grave marker at some point is going to be communicating to future generations about your life. So think about sort of the redefinition of social networks in that regard. So as our level of connectivity has advanced, so has our expectation about the speed at which we're able to access information. We expect to find answers to questions of the most obscure nature at the dinner table with Google searches using our smartphones. We expect to receive a response to an email or a text message instantaneously. As a matter of fact, we have accepted the fact that our personal credibility is defined by how fast we interact to the social media. So how does this all translate into my world in the automotive space? Well, connectivity or telematics in the automotive space is using your car or truck to keep up with the connected world while you're behind your wheel and doing this in a safe manner. Right now, a large part of the industry is focused on infotainment connectivity. So hands-free calling using voice recognition, being able to access and control your music with simple voice commands. The shift of this technology has inspired our developers and engineers to enable them to develop some interesting new applications, such as getting your emails while you drive safely, very innovative approaches to texting management, even doing Facebook status updates, as you've seen on some Super Bowl ads. But as important and cool as some of this stuff is, really the ability to stay connected while we're on the road benefits us personally, but it really doesn't do much to benefit society. And really the question is, how does the sheer volume of all of this connectivity allow us to do things to help benefit all of us? A great example of this consumer mobility is in the navigation space. And that's an area that is quite fitting for the theme of this conference, and it's also a very important component and instrumental part of what is all about OnStar. Now, we all know how nav works, but just sort of getting from point A to point B is not what's in the mind of consumers. So I've made a list here of some of the things that people think about. You have to walk through a number of these steps. You got to choose your destination, estimate the departure time under normal conditions, determine how much time to allow for vehicle preparation, determine how much time to allow for atypical travel conditions. You set up your route. Plan the steps, plan the stops, set the departure time, decide whether or not to actually make the trip. Walk to the vehicle, prepare the vehicle for the drive to the destination, make planned stops along the way, assess the destination if you're going to get there on time, call your loved ones or your colleagues to let them know about your lateness, reset the route as needed, park the vehicle and walk to your destination. along the way, there's a lot of stuff going on in your head, and sort of navigation is just a simple route itself is becoming a commodity. Now, of course, imagine what happens as you have to plan more stops along the way. The multitude of things that you have to contemplate and consider, really becomes overwhelming. But we maneuver through this stuff. We handle all this stuff. Now, there's lots of apps out there that can help me do all the things I need, but I don't want to have to act upon those apps and intervene myself to make all those solutions available. I want the smart space, the smart world, to figure out what my needs are and then deliver those relevant things to me when I need them. For example, I want a traffic service that knows when I'm walking to my car and then knows likely the route that I'm going to be taking and gives me the relevant traffic information right then, not at a predefined time or not when I think I'm going to be driving home from work. This is the old way of doing things, and it's long gone. Matter of fact, I showed some young teenagers recently an old-fashioned fold-out map, and they were blown away. They thought that was the coolest thing they'd ever seen. They didn't realize that maps came bigger than a smartphone screen. Well, over the past 10 to 15 years, technology has helped us to take the pressure off some of the destination management steps that I've mentioned earlier. You only have to decide about where you want to go. You then enter that information, the destination information. As a matter of fact, we're thinking about this navigation space as destination management. You can enter it into your nav screen. You could enter it into your portable navigation device, into your smartphone. You can even press an OnStar blue button, talk to a live person to help you with that task. Today, you can even send your destination to your vehicle from a website. We've had a long-standing relationship with MapQuest for over 4 years here, being able to do just that, send your destination to your vehicle. And recently, we've enabled that with Google Maps as well. But is that enough? And as I said before, we want the apps to intervene on our behalf, not having to always think about what we need and then act upon that. So cars and trucks with embedded technology like OnStar can pull all kinds of data points, such as drive patterns and energy consumption. Now, for example, what are you going to do with all this information? Well, our engineers and developers have been experimenting with a tweeting car. The car actually sends a tweet every time it's turned on and every time it's turned off. And the information that it sends is the location information. And what are you going to do with this stuff? Well, you can actually begin to infer, based upon driving patterns, the customer's intentions. And so if I'm driving an electric vehicle, a Chevy Volt, for example, the car knows what its state of charge is. It knows that I'm going to be likely driving home when I turn it on. It will know that when I come home, I've got it set to deferred mode so that it uses the off-peak charging time. But it'll also know to connect to my Google Calendar account so that it can see that later on that evening I have to go pick up my daughter at a sporting event. And so it's going to intervene on my behalf and actually start the charging right when I get home. Those are the kind of interventions and intent management tools that we're going to be expecting to see over time. And this is what really drove us to ask some young student developers to support us in the upcoming service ideas that we can offer via our virtual advisor. We gave them a set of data to work with, such as GPS information, location data, vehicle diagnostic information, and challenged them to come up with some great voice applications to deliver to customers and really mash up their own ideas to create value and some intuitive smarts for our customers. The 6 finalists are among us today, and they've come back with some really impressive ideas. And we're going to be announcing the grand prize winner at the reception tonight. And it's really the kind of thing that we want to help change some of the destination management tools going forward. And really, this is all happening now. For a while now, we've actually had an innovative mobile app that we pioneered with the Chevy Volt to control your vehicle, to control all your energy management. We've also expanded that availability to almost all 2011 model year GM vehicles. And I'm just going to give you a little teaser that we're going to be announcing soon, as you'd expect, the navigation component. And so if you can imagine some of the things that you'd want to do to help with the intuitive aspects, help with some of those navigation tools, the myriad of steps that a customer might want to be using, there's going to be more stuff coming, and it's an exciting time for all of us. So we're clearly on the cusp of something big here. There are a lot of issues such as balancing privacy concerns, driver distraction, information overload. And we certainly don't have all the answers, but I am convinced that we're on the right path and that there's no doubt about the potential. We'll continue to push the envelope on exciting ideas. The fun part of the journey is that we are discovering the next level of connectivity and the next level of intent management and the next level of destination management. Linking social media tools Information and energy and all of the new mashups is going to become the new non-intuitive enabler that helps drive us forward. And it's only a small element of where the business of location is going to take us. So with that, I look forward to all the great innovation that we can work on together, and thank you for your time.